Like this.
Again, well, I'm the last presenter, and I thought of asking questions of how many people are still using paper for their family history and how many people are using computers, but you can sort of see the direction we're headed in terms of organizing ourselves. I wanted to tell you about a local resource that actually exists in this building. And the full set of records is in two places. One is here in this building over in the Family History Center. The other is at the National Daughters of the American Revolution location. It's only in those two places. We're talking about the Oregon DA, what I call the Oregon DAR records and index. This is and the four questions: what is this collection of records and where is it located? What material does this collection contain? What material does this collection not contain? And where can the index to these records be accessed? I consider this a gem of a collection for historical Oregon. It's a collection of Oregon's historical past as recorded by early Oregonians. Very early Oregonians. Some of these records, the originals are like 1850, and transcribed and indexed by many dedicated Oregon DAR members. It contains a wide variety, I'll say wide, it's just amazing different materials of historical and genealogical information from old family Bibles, so people in their families, and hundreds of these Bibles have been transcribed. Cemetery records, about 600 cemeteries in Oregon. Newspaper vital records, county vital records, marriages, births, deaths by a pioneer minister that might be a transient minister. Church records, county abstract of wills, family histories, interviews, personal and family memoirs, etc. This collection, people misunderstand. When we say, look, this is the Oregon DAR records, they think that, oh, this is the information that people, that women have sent in to show their ancestry, that one of their ancestors was in the Revolutionary War. It is not that. That's a different type of record. Okay, this is what it looks like. You go in the Family History Center here, and we'll have that open from 5 to 6. This is what it looks like. So the Oregon DAR chapter started collecting historical data in 1926. That's when they started collecting it and sending it to the national office. There are over 315 volumes occupying 22 linear feet of shelf space. There are 4 alphabetized index volumes like this. This is one of the 4. It totals 1,432 pages of index. It's alphabetically indexed. It contains about 500, it's about 500,000 names of Oregonians or even ancestors of Oregonians. There's also a list of the title of each record volume and an alphabetical list of the 568 Oregon cemeteries that have records in these volumes. One of the handouts I had is like a 16-page handout, and I only printed 100 of those. Actually, I'll have to tell you, your attendance has exceeded our expectations, because we printed 140, and I know many of you brought your own handouts, because they are available, all the handouts are available at our website, but we've run out of those 140. But I printed 100 of these, thinking that not everybody necessarily has ancestors that would be interested in this. Okay, Shirley O'Neill is the indexer of these. And she alphabetically, digitally indexed into the computer system the Oregon records. And she did that in 2.5 years from 1998 to 2000. That's averaging 500 names a day, day after day after day for 2.5 years. She says the index came from her fingers. because she had to type all that, digitize all that in. She's also the Oregon's DAR Lineage Research Chairman. She's regent of at least 2 DAR chapters. In fact, one of the reasons she's not here is that she's down in Florence because she's one of the regent of that chapter. She's a book author, and we have copies of some of the books that she has written on the county, on Benton, Clackamas Lake, Marion Polk, and Yamhill County. She's really a genealogist extraordinaire. Prior to doing the indexing here, she had indexed about 150,000 names for Maryland. So how do you access this? One way to access it, access the index, is to come to the library and look through alphabetically through these 4 index pages, and each name is indexed, and it's interesting how some of the names got in. One woman came in and she said, "Do you have this particular person?" And the person was in the index, and we looked up on the volume that it was in, and it turned out to be that he was an appraiser for a probate intestate, and he was also, and some other things, it looked like he was had delivered milk. So this person may have been behind in payment of the bills for the milk delivery, and so that's why he was an appraiser. So you can search physically through these records, and again, they're all alphabetized. Or you can go online, and this is in the handout. And if you don't have if you read out of handouts, you can go to the handout online, but you can search the National DAR records online. That's what I'm going to show you here. So, you go to this site, and down here it says genealogy research. That's what this arrow is there. Click on that, and then you'll come to this. It says online research, and you scroll down here, and then you scroll down here until you come to GRC tab. That's the Genealogical Records Committee, is the GRC. So you go to that, you click on that tab, and then you keep clicking again. You come to this site, it says welcome, and then you enter, and then it says GRC Database Overview. You click on that. And you finally get to where you want to be. So you can search not only Oregon, but you can search nationally. And the DAR says that they have 20 million names. So you can search by other states, or you can just search the whole thing. So what I've done is, this is blank, and so here there was a fellow that I know by the name of Bab, B-A-B-B, and he said, I've got some ancestors in Oregon, and it's the Birch family, B-U-R-C-H. So I just put in Oregon, and surname, did not search for any first names. Now, if you can read this, this says 559 birches in the Oregon records. Okay, so let's say the first one, Alice Birch, S1V12611. That means it's in Oregon. Again, this is the national records, it's in Oregon. S1 is Series 1, Volume 126, page 11. So the books are like this, and they're alphabetized. They're numerically in order. And so I'm going to go to the Birch. Well, it turns out that this fellow hit a jackpot, because this is Oregon Pioneer Families Volume 10, and it was submitted in 1952, and it shows the Birch family. So there are 13 pages of Burks as well as other families. One of the interesting things here is that it lists basically sort of a pedigree, the children of so-and-so's children of so-and-so. Again, these are the pioneer families. And then this is a history of the Birch family by Carolyn F. Birch. It says the Judge Samuel Birch, the father, was originally from Maryland. He was born near Baltimore in 1792. His people were of English and Welsh descent. He spent 3 years at sea. He married in Maryland, and from his union he had some children. His mother died, and so on and so on and so forth. They had a tobacco plantation in Missouri, and he and his family crossed the plains in 1847. Leaving their home in April, crossing the Missouri River April 3, and reaching the Willamette Valley September 3, gave them less than 5 months' journey. They came in Nat Bowman's company. The train consisted of 125 wagons. The Birches had 3 wagons and a spring hack in which the family rode. They were fairly well-to-do. They started with horses hitched to the hack, but the horses gave out and they had to change to oxen. They brought with them, sewed in a feather bed, $3,000 in gold coin. Brigham Young's company was coming out of Arkansas at that time. Again, this person thought that Brigham Young came from Arkansas. At that time to colonize Utah, and the companies traveled together for several days. When they reached the Platte River, it was running very high, and Brigham Young ferried the Oregon train over in his rawhide boat. After crossing the river, the companies separated. At American Falls, they divided, and they took the southern route through what we've now called northern Nevada, coming up through the Klamath-Umpqua area, and settled in Rick Reel. So this is their story. This is a treasure, and again, if you have Oregon ancestors, this would be a great treasure for you. So how to find the volume and the page? Again, you can go online, or you can come in and look here, and we'll say S1 or S2. That series, Series 1 was collected and submitted from 1926 to 1988. Series 2 was collected and submitted from 1989 to the present. The volumes are numbered numerically within each series. There's a page within each volume. And the year listed is not the year of the record itself, but the year that the record was submitted to the DAR. People say, well, are these microfilmed? Well, the Genealogical Society of Utah in 1970, 1972 microfilmed some of the records, but again, not any records submitted since then, and the National DAR says that over half of the records have not been microfilmed. So I encourage, again, when you have identified a name in the DAR records, either by coming in and looking at these index books, or it'd actually be easier for you to go online, and again, the instructions are in the handout I gave you. You're welcome to visit our Family History Library and look at the volume and page where that information is located, and there's a printer to print the appropriate pages. Or you can go to the National DAR online and indicate which page and volume you want to have copied and mailed to you. So those are the 2 ways to obtain that direct information. So I encourage you to investigate this wonderful collection of historical records. You may be surprised with the ancestors you find and what you learn about them and about yourself. And that concludes my presentation. I turn the light on and take any questions.